Hi there, Chris here with part 1 of our series on painting flesh tones. In this video we'll be looking at painting the tanned flesh, or mid-tone flesh tone. It's most common kind of, flesh. And so to begin us off, we'll be using Bugman's Glow from Games Workshop, from their new line of paints. And so we'll be using this color as our base tone, and we're thinning it down just slightly with a bit of water, not too much, just for ease of flow. You could use acrylic medium as well to help with the application of this color, but just a little bit of water I find does the trick. And so for us to keep a nice rich skin tone, we're going to start with this fairly dark flesh tone. We're going to be building up the color from this point, and so we'll take the journey together. So as you can see by the state of this model, we're only going to be concerning ourselves with painting the flesh areas of these models, and so the rest of the model will just be simply a base color, as we're not too concerned with those areas, as really we're just concerned with painting all the little fun flesh little areas and other such details, as well as the faces as well. And when you get to the face area of the model, if the model has a face, be careful not to overwater your paint or apply it too thickly, as you will obscure the details of the face. And so you really don't want that, because you really want to maintain those details, as really once we get to the finished product of the model, really the face is what draws the eye in, and so you want to retain a lot of those details. And if the details are all messed up, the eyes don't look right, and you end up painting the eyes too big, or anything along those lines, really. And so with the base coat nearing completion, we only have a few other little details to take care of, like the little hands and such. And of course we're using a lot of caution as we're painting around the model. We could have just as easily started the model off by painting the flesh, but often when we're dry brushing areas, and we can end up hitting other areas, and so again, we're always using a little bit of caution. The Bugman Glow is not a bad paint. It's fairly thick, which is consistent with GW's line of model paints. And so we allow that base coat to dry, and we move in with some Reikland Flesh Tone. And this is going to be a fairly heavy wash onto the model as well. We're not thinning it down at all, and we're just simply drawing a little bit off the bristles, but we're applying it fairly heavily to the model, as we really want the ink to pool up in the recesses of the muscles and the fingers, as well as the eye sockets and all the fun little areas all over the model. And so we allow this model to sit and dry. And when we come back, after it's thoroughly dry, we come back in with some Bugman Glow. And this is going to be just to pick out the raised areas of the muscles and fingers, the knuckles, and other raised areas on the model. Now, we're not looking to resurface all we had done before. Really, we're just looking to begin the first highlight. And so with the original Bugman Glow that was tinted but not quite in the recesses, we want to just bring those first initial highlights out, and so it's to give us a nice transition into the flesh. And you may find that once you bring it to this tone, you might want to stop, and if you're happy with this darker skin tone, but we'll continue to work it a little bit further. And as you can see, as we get closer to the face and such, you'll notice that like my brush strokes are a little bit straighter along for the muscles, because I'm going for that really sinewy look on the muscles. And so that's really the whole point of kind of drawing the lines across and creating those tendons and such. You'll see on the face here, we're just catching the raised areas, the eyebrows, the top of the forehead, a bit of the cheekbone and the eyelid, the bridge of his nose, as well as the end of his nose and the nostrils. And we're just looking to create just some of the deep shadows. We're just looking just to keep any of those extra details, as once we get to the final highlights, you'll see that it's so much more definition once we take the time to really care for a lot of those areas and such. Again, you wouldn't have to paint the sinewy muscles all over the model either. You could simply just color the entire area of the muscle a solid tone and be done with it. And it's probably a lot faster to go that route, but I figured we'd do something a little different here for this first model. And so we'll go and plus he's got these great big arms on him and everything, and he's got this whole Conan the Barbarian thing going on, and so with that nearing completion, we'll move on to the final highlights of the model.